Hello, everybody.
I never know what to do with my hands. Oh, I'm in a bush.
You better move over.
Hold on a second. Wait, let me scoot over a little bit.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Happy Father's Day weekend. Happy Saturday. Happy day. I don't know. What else is there?
I don't know. Well, we got
happy first live of 2023
for
us.
I know. I can't believe actually we've gone this long.
Yeah.
Almost a half a year. We've gone a half a year.
I don't even remember the last time we went live. We've hosted lives on our channel for RV Unplugged, but we haven't done a live in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So we are glad you're here.
Yeah, and we're now, halfway through our year of national parks. We just finished filming our 20th national park, which is amazing. So yeah, we're just super excited. We have all the dogs here. We have all of your questions from Facebook and from Instagram. Thank you very much for those. If you have more questions or you weren't able to put your questions in, please put them in the comments. Obviously, we got a lot of people here. Hello. North Dakota, Utah, Saratoga Springs, Washington State.
Everybody is all
Yuma.
over.
Yuma. Hello from Luma.
From where?
Luma. Yeah, our friend Loopy is from there, or is there right now. I don't know what I'm even saying right now.
She's in Page.
Yeah.
And our friends Tiffany and Steve are outside our door.
So nothing weird about that at all. And presumably they're actually, he is watching right now.
Hi, Steve.
So, hi, Steve. So, should we jump into questions?
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of things to cover.
Yeah.
A lot of different topics, which I'm excited about. Everything from Class A life versus Class C life to national parks to how are the dogs doing, all that good stuff. So yeah, and if you have any questions that aren't related to those things either, drop them in the comments here in the chat. What's it called? The chat? Yeah. The
live chat. Katelyn acts like we haven't done this before. We've done a decent amount of lives now. I mean, I gotta say. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like riding a bicycle. It takes a little bit of time for it to click again, because I've been in video editing mode and video shooting mode, and that's different than live mode. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So somebody asked where we are currently. We are at a undisclosed location.
It's beautiful.
It's witness protection. We're in Utah, and we actually just finished, like I said, our 20th national park.
Which also happened to be the last of the Mighty 5 national parks in Utah.
Yes.
We got to hit all of those in a row. And guys, the videos that are coming up, I am so excited about. They're so beautiful, so informative, so fascinating. It's just going to be a great series, the next 5 videos. I'm excited, so I hope you guys are too.
Definitely. Should we jump into questions? Because seriously, we have a lot.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This is in no particular order. This is literally just as we were copy pasting from Facebook and from Instagram. Oh, by the way, what are you all drinking? Because we're actually having, Katelyn, can you grab that bottle?
Oh, yeah.
This is actually because somebody mentioned that they are at a harvest house. Carla is at a harvest host, I should say. This is from a harvest host. This is Royal Rhubarb Gin.
Yeah, we've had this for a long time.
Yeah, and it's from Weldon, North Carolina. There's a distillery in North Carolina that is a harvest host. They have a beautiful property, and it's in a historic building, and they have a still there.
Yeah, so we had a really fun tasting there.
Yeah.
Great experience, and we took home rhubarb gin, which is so unique, I feel like. We cracked this bottle open with Chris and Irene Iron Travels.
Yep.
I think in the winter, and gave it a try, and it's really good.
I mean, as you can see,
good.
we've polished off. I mean, it's almost gone.
Yeah, it's been in 6 months though.
Yeah, but anyway,
to be clear.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so let's start in no particular order. Actually, Mighty 5 question. So, any tips for Arches, Moab, Grand Canyon for summertime besides it going to be so hot? Favorite restaurants in Moab? Experience with rafting on the Colorado River. Wow, that's a lot. That's like 5 questions.
Yeah, that was.
That's a Mighty 5 questions about the Mighty 5. Okay, well, let's start off with experience with rafting on the Colorado River. You will never see us in a raft. It's not our thing.
No. I think that people who go rafting, especially Class 5 rapids and above, kudos to you guys.
Yes.
You have way more guts than I do.
Yeah.
I prefer a leisurely float.
Yeah.
With a beer and a raft and a tube.
Remember the great float that we did in Alaska? We did that awesome float. Now that wasn't a raft.
That's true. That was a raft, but it was much more gentle. We weren't paddling, so we weren't in charge of anything. We had a wonderful guide who did it.
Yeah.
So we don't have any advice with rafting or any experience with rafting on the Colorado River. There are a lot of great tours, tour companies that do it. I would just say, do your research and find a reputable one, but that's not going to come from us. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Arches, that was actually our 19th park. So yes, we just actually finished. So the 19th and 20th, it was Arches, and then Canyonlands. Canyonlands was our 20th park, which is so cool. Just to say that we've done 20 parks in a year. In a year.
In 6 months.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But the big thing with Arches National Park is that they are on a timed reservation system right now. So you have to go on to recreation.gov and book a time slot for entry. If you enter before 7 a.m., if you can get up that early and be in the park before 7 a.m. or after 4 p.m., you don't have to worry about it. But between those hours, you do need a reservation. It's like $2 on recreation.gov. And it's just to control the flow of people in the park.
And it's done a great job. I actually, because I was thinking back to when we were there before, it did feel really crowded. And I think by spreading people out in that way, you're not getting the crush of people, like everybody's fighting for the exact same parking spots at the exact same trailheads.
Yeah, like we didn't have a problem finding parking at anywhere
inside of Arches. Yeah. Canyonlands was also quite busy, actually. When we got there, there was a 30-minute wait, roughly, in order to get through the toll plaza where they check your if you have an annual pass or you pay the admittance to get in. It's about 30 minutes. So definitely Arches. We will have tons of recommendations. Moab favorites for restaurants. Milt's is a local hang. It's a hamburger joint.
You guys know I love my cheeseburgers.
Yeah. We went before. We went again. I'll go again.
They have so many different combinations of types of cheeseburgers. You can also get veggie burgers. You can get, I think, chicken.
Yeah.
Great homemade milkshakes with all different, like I got an Oreo peanut butter one that was phenomenal. Their French fries are fresh cut. It's so good and it's so cheap. Like a burger is like $6.75 or something.
We also got a really great recommendation again from Chris and Aaron at Irene Iron Travels of a wood-fired pizza place that is phenomenal. It is probably the closest thing I think that I've had to like Neapolitan pizza like we had in Italy. In Naples. It was incredible.
And they do have an entire gluten-free menu on their last page of their menu with all kinds of different flavor combinations. I had like a truffle cream with mozzarella and prosciutto. It was really good. Really good. And it was all gluten-free. Yeah,
it was really, really good. Somebody actually, Miss Riggy asked, are your national park videos in the order that you visited them? Yes. The answer is yes. I don't know if that'll always be the case, but I feel like it's pretty much worked out because we have tried to be somewhat regional in the order, but unfortunately because of weather, we've not been dealt a good hand this year as far as weather and considerations for our tour. Yosemite is a perfect example of that. Unfortunately, let's see. Well, first they had snow, right? They had record snowfall. Then they had flooding. They had the rainfall. Then they had the melt from the snow. Then they had the roads deteriorate.
Yeah, it's been rough for Yosemite.
We've had to reschedule Yosemite now multiple times. So that is definitely a park that, like, we still have not gone to Yosemite.
It's like you saw we were in the order we were releasing. We were out in California, then we went back into Arizona, then we were in New Mexico. Now we're, coming up into Utah. So we've kind of done a little bit of crisscrossing, which is just bound to happen with weather and things like that. So doing the best we can. But they all are in order right now.
They are, yes. And I think moving forward, I think it'll mostly be in order because I think that will make sense from a geographic standpoint. Utah, we were really trying to keep those all together because the Mighty Five.
Right. It just makes sense, especially for people who are trying to plan a trip or doing research. Like, that is such an epic bucket list road trip for so many people to hit all of those parks. So it only makes sense to do them in
sequential order.
I've had literally 2 sips of my drink.
This is not intoxication.
Words are hard.
Okay. Let's see. Should we?
Yeah.
We'll take a. Oh, here. Let me. I just got to put this one up. What is your least favorite of the national parks you've visited thus far? That's not fair. first of all. That's not
I
fair.
know.
And this is from Tiffany and Steve. So thank you so much.
That is tough. It's so hard to pick a least favorite. I will feel like there are parks that offer more or less. There are parks that you can spend a lot of time in, or parks that are only kind of one day and you can move on.
Right.
So it's so tough.
Well, here's what I will say. A park like White Sands, we've now been to twice in 2 years. I don't know if we need to go back to White Sands for a little while at least.
Yeah.
Not because it's not a great park to visit, and not because we didn't have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I feel like I would want to prioritize my time elsewhere. I'm not trying to be like super political, but it just, that's just the truth.
No. And Tiffany just said, I love you guys, but this is valuable. It is.
Yeah.
Because for example, with Biscayne, talk about Biscayne.
Oh, Biscayne. So 95% of the Biscayne National Park, which is, by the way, like just southeast of Miami, 95% of it's underwater. If you're not really into snorkeling, diving, those types of activities, it's not going to be this great experience for you.
Right. And it was very different for both of us.
Yes,
like
it was.
I love water activities. I love snorkeling though. I love being in the water. And that isn't Howard's thing.
No, I love land-based activities and paragliding. I mean, like I'll do anything. But for me, I feel like that would be a park that again, I don't know. Like, the islands are great. But once you've kind of seen the islands, that's pretty much, you hit your limit as far as things that you can do that are not scuba diving or snorkeling.
Right.
In the park.
Yeah.
So that'd be my thought on them.
Yeah.
Somebody said Voyagers is mostly water as well. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Like if you're not into kayaking, that's not going to be your
thing.
thing.
Kayak
and
right? Canoe. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another great one just because I just happened to see it. Where'd it go? There it is. Hey guys, are you going back to the Navion? Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm. That's always been the plan.
Always been the plan. We want to make sure that everybody understands. We've tried to make clear that we don't own this. This is not ours. This has actually very generously been gifted to us for the year. It's on a loan from Winnebago for the National Park Tour because we're inside of a National Park themed RV. So what a perfect opportunity to really show off that larger RVs, a 30-foot Class A RV can have a great camping experience, can fit in the national parks. That's actually another question somebody had.
Yeah.
So we can kind of dive into that. But we are planning to return to the Navion, by the end of the year. And I don't want to spoil because somebody else had a question about like Class A versus Class C life and all of that. But yes, we are planning to head back into our Navion.
So let's go. Troy and Amy asked, talk about navigating the national parks with a van versus a larger RV with a tow vehicle versus a truck camper versus a travel trailer. Well, we've never done a travel trailer or a truck camper, so we don't particularly know those, but smaller versus larger, right?
Right.
Well, I think it goes into two categories. There's camping in the national parks versus exploring in the national parks.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I think that for camping, I think we've already proven, and actually there have only been a handful of the 20 parks, in fact, less than 5, that we actually could not fit in the campground in a 30-foot RV. Most have at least a handful of sites in one of their campgrounds that you could fit in. Now, as far as experiencing it, that's a very different story. What we have observed would be that 30 feet is kind of that limit where they have parking at trailheads, they have parking at the visitor center and all of that. It's pretty much 30 feet or less. So if you're towing, if you have a bigger Class A or you're larger than 30 feet, for your vehicle, a motorhome, I think you're probably better suited to camping and then having that tow vehicle or the vehicle you use to tow. And that's what you would use to explore or use your bike. When we were at Grand Canyon, they had extensive bike trails in order to get to a lot of the major areas of the park on the South Rim. So there are definitely options for you to be able to experience the park.
And it depends too on what your travel schedule is, what your travel preference is. Petrified Forest National Park was a very RV friendly park to drive through because it starts in the north and you can actually just drive through the entire park out and exit out the south. So, exit out the south. I talk with my hands. We saw a couple of fifth wheels, like at every stop. It was like, you know, we would get ahead and then they would be there too. And there were 2 fifth wheels who were caravanning with each other, and they were at every single stop. There was plenty of parking for them. So that's a perfect example of a very easily drivable in a large vehicle park. Not every park is going to be like that. No. For example, Glacier National Park, you can only drive a certain amount of miles into the park.
Right.
The Going to the Sun Road has we can't even drive the Navi on the
I think it's like road. 20 or 22 feet. Mm-hmm. If somebody knows the exact number, because we haven't gone there yet on this tour. We've been before, but if somebody knows that exact length, I think it's either 20 or 22 feet is the length that you can drive the Going to the Sun Road on with an RV, I should say, or a larger vehicle. Yeah. But man, there is so much opportunity for great camping, even with a larger RV. And I hope that already you've been able to see that with our videos, because we try and show everywhere that we're camping, so that way you can feel confident in knowing that, yeah, I can fit. You know, you can have a really great camping experience even with a larger RV.
And I learned this very early on at Big Bend National Park. Recreation.gov, if you go into a specific campsite, it will list the length of the vehicle that's allowed, but also the exact length of the site.
Yeah. Right.
And then it will have notes. And we had booked a campsite in Cottonwood Campground in Big Bend that we would have fit in lengthwise, but in their notes, they had something about low-hanging branches I hadn't read.
Right.
And luckily, a couple in a tent agreed to switch with us, which was very nice, and we were so thankful. We could have made it work, but it was not ideal. So make sure to read all of the notes and read everything about that specific site if you have a rig that is bigger that you're concerned about fitting.
Yeah.
Because they do a very good job of providing you the information. You just have to read it.
and you know, one question that we've gotten a lot, and no one's asked about it for this live, is about Yosemite. And we have not been to Yosemite in this. But Yosemite, it is possible to bring a larger RV in and out of that park. It's just that it's very specific. And in the video, once we release our video, we will make sure that it's very clear how you enter and how you exit through the national park, because there are large campsites inside of Yosemite National Park. You can camp in the valley in a quite large RV. North Campground, I believe, is the one that has the largest sites. So just so you know, you can do it. A lot of people are very afraid because of the tunnels, and I totally understand. Nobody wants to hit their RV on a tunnel.
No, of course not. Or be the reason that there's a huge backup into or out of an hour.
Because they had to back out?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Not good.
Not good.
Man. Let's do another national park question. It says, it is early in the travel season, but can you comment on crowds and your feeling if our parks are being, quote, loved to death? And I think this is a very good question.
This is great. This was the follow-up. Any size rig can fit in Great Smoky Mountains National Park, but truck maps show not allowed due to no commercial traffic. That's 100% accurate. And the thing to keep in mind with that one in particular is it is a public road, right? So they do restrict it, though, against commercial traffic because it is going through a national park. But it is actually a through road. You can drive through that. That's also a big reason why Smoky Mountains is so interesting, because it is the #1 park for attendance. Did you know that the Smoky Mountains is the #1 for attendance? But they can't charge any form of an admission. And the reason for that is twofold. One, there is actually a specific law about the Smoky Mountains where they cannot. But the second reason is because they can't restrict that road. Can't, because it is actually a main thoroughfare in order to get from one section. Actually it goes from North Carolina into South Carolina, or no, Tennessee into
Tennessee and North Carolina.
Tennessee and North Carolina. Yeah. So any case, just know that yes, you can bring your RV into the Great Smoky Mountains. You might have a heck of a time trying to find parking, because that is a park that really struggles with parking. I think this year is the first year where they are instituting a parking policy. Mm-hmm. And so there will be some form of you pay for parking in order to try and limit the number of vehicles that people are bringing in. So they're really encouraging people to please carpool, please figure out alternatives instead of trying, to desperately, everybody's all chasing the exact same parking spots in the same lots.
Which does actually tie into that question.
Yes. So there you go. Are they being loved to death?
we have heard this term from some of the parks.
Yes.
From the staff there.
Yeah.
I think they are feeling it.
Yes.
Our experience from a guest standpoint, I think the parks that are growing in popularity are doing a really good job of trying to lessen the strain on their staff while also trying to make sure that the guest has a good time and there's not so many people. Arches is a perfect example of that. While it might be a little annoying to us to have to try to, get a timed entry, it does require a little bit more planning. It truly does alleviate those crowds inside the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great thing that they're trying to do. I also think it's a great thing that people are going to our national parks. That's what they're there for.
Yes.
People getting out and exploring our country in this way, I think is a wonderful thing. So I don't know if that answers it. Thoughts?
I think you captured it.
Yeah. We did have an experience. So we were in Zion National Park over Mother's Day weekend, and there was a trail that we were on that was very crowded, and it was not a very enjoyable experience because of the amount of crowds. But there were factors at play. For example, the Narrows right now, which is arguably one of the most popular trails inside of Zion National Park, is closed. The water rushing is way too strong for people to safely hike through the Narrows right now. So there was that. It was also Mother's Day, so there were extra people because of that. The third factor was that the other entrance to this particular trail was closed because of damage. So it was forcing everybody onto this one trail.
It was the Emerald Pools.
Emerald Pools.
Yeah, and there are two bridges. One that goes directly from the Zion Lodge, and you can go across, and it's the shortest way actually to get to the Emerald Pools. But that bridge is closed right now. And so, that was making it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that was...
Yeah. So, I mean, there were other factors at play too. It was a holiday. Things were closed. So there were people on one specific trail. But in our overall experience, that was probably, if you want to call it a negative experience, that was the most crowded we have seen anything. And we've now been to 20 parks. So.
Yep.
That's my answer on that. Final answer.
Somebody asked, and I apologize because I'm trying to see if I can. Busing on a budget. Okay. Is your tow behind necessary?
In a Class A, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The Navion. Okay. I will definitely say that there are two schools of thought with the Navion or any of the smaller RVs, whether they're B, meaning like a camper van, or a small Class C, like what we have with the Navion. There are those that believe, and I would agree, that you can get around and you can see a lot of sights just with the Navion. Mm-hmm. But we prefer to set up camp and put our slides out, and put all of our stuff out and everything, and not have to pack that up just for every single time that you want to go explore, go grocery shopping, or anything like that.
And it comes down to your style of travel.
Exactly. Like that's our style of travel.
Like we work from the road. So we have an office set up. We have 3 dogs that prefer lounging in the RV. So if you don't have those things, then you might not need a tow vehicle. I think for the larger, the bigger you go, I think it becomes more necessary, especially just fitting into places.
Right.
It's just harder to find parking for big vehicles.
It is, just in general.
Yeah.
We've talked about like the national parks, but boy, I mean, if you're trying to explore a city, with a larger RV or a towable, I mean, I think it's going to be harder. Yeah.
Or you need to plan to take public transportation or Uber into the city or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because it's not feasible. We did drive this around San Francisco, and that was not fun. So
no. I mean, we've done it. New York City. We've driven around New York City on our Navion. Again, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good question though.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay.
You want to do that one?
Yes. I've heard that the national parks now require content creators to purchase a permit if they plan to monetize their videos. I assume this is the case for you. What is included with the permit? Is that what allows you to get the one-on-one with the rangers that you feature in your videos?
This is a very hot topic issue.
This is super hot topic. And I think a lot of people are like, how are you even doing this?
There's a lot of confusion around
there
this
is.
Too.
Let me just boil this all down to commercial filming. What is commercial filming? And the answer is there is a law. And by the way, this has been in place for decades. This is not a new thing. A lot of people got hung up on the fact that for about a year, it was paused. there was no enforcement of commercial filming permits in the national parks, and that expired in October of 22.
Yeah.
Right, last year.
Right, and this got a lot of press coverage because of the court case that was going on,
Right.
and obviously, yeah, there was interim guidance, and then. So I think it's top of mind because this all recently just happened.
Yeah, because now suddenly everybody's like, "Oh, you need a permit."
Right.
It's like, actually, you always did need a permit. It's
It just wasn't strictly enforced.
Yeah, it wasn't strictly enforced. And so once the case kind of went through, and by the way, I mean, the case is still potentially could go to the Supreme Court. So this might actually still change again. There's also a law that has at least been introduced in Congress that would make it easier and potentially less expensive or even free, depending on the size of a commercial project. But let's talk about commercial projects. So if you have a TikTok account that is monetized, that means that you are commercially filming. Instagram, no, because you are not receiving compensation for that post. This is why this is important to talk about. YouTube, yes. And YouTube, regardless, the answer is yes. That is commercial filming, because whether you get paid, YouTube gets paid, because YouTube puts ads, even if you are not in their partner program, I think is what they call it. They are still able to generate revenue from that video by selling ads for that video, even if you're not getting paid, meaning the content creator is not getting paid. So all of those are commercial filming.
Yeah. So we are applying for permits for every single park.
That's correct.
And it is a lengthy process. A lot of them have lead time. So we have like an entire spreadsheet with things
we do to
keep track of it all.
Yeah. And like, is it ideal? No, I don't think anybody would say it's ideal, but we've been able to make it work. It requires a lot more planning. You cannot be nearly as spontaneous, flexible, because when you're applying for a permit like this, keep in mind that the same policy exists whether it's just two people with a camera in public areas or a many $1 million production, a TV series, a movie, or whatever, who has pyrotechnics and stunts and all of that. You still go through the same process. So you have to specify, this is where I want to film, on what day, at what time. These are the trails that we're going to film. People ask us, like, how do you get these interviews and everything? We put it on the application.
We ask for it.
We ask for it. Yeah. Now,
and every park is different.
Yes.
Every park is different. There are some parks that are a lot of wilderness, and so they don't permit for those areas.
Yes.
There are some parks that are like, look, have a great time. Like, just follow the rules of the park and just be respectful and you're fine.
And several parks, by the way, have told us once we have applied that no permit was actually necessary based upon what we had applied for. So we still had to go through the process of getting all that information collected for the application, but they ultimately didn't charge us the application fee. Mm-hmm. By the way, I want to clarify, there is not a permit fee for filming in the national parks. If you are, say, 2 people, I think it's under 5 people.
Right. There's still an application fee.
Yes.
But you're not paying a daily fee for filming.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
Right. And so the permit fee and all of that, the application fee, each park has a different fee because it's based upon what their process is and how many people are involved. It's basically a recoupment of expenses involved to process said application. Yeah. Some have an entire team. Some of the busiest parks, I'm thinking of Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon has a large team because they are constantly dealing with filming projects, both for news and all kinds of organizations. Right. So it's the law.
We're following it.
We are.
And
but yes.
And somebody asked too, do you have commercial insurance for the permits?
We do. Mm-hmm. Yes. You're required. Well, actually, that's not true. It is at the discretion of the park based upon your activity. And I want to be clear on that because we have it already because we are a company, we are a corporation, but we're fancy, we're a corporation, but we have commercial insurance. We always provide that when we are applying, but actually the way that it's structured with the language on the application and everything, it is at the discretion of the park whether they need it or not. I would venture to say that most of the locations that we have applied for would not actually require the insurance. but they will indicate whether the insurance is necessary or not. And commercial liability insurance, it's a cost of doing business. I hate to say it, but I mean, like, this is ultimately now a business,
which is exciting for us.
Is,
like, we're very excited to have reached that stage. We couldn't have done it without all of you.
Yes,
who are literally tuning in.
100%.
So yeah, it's exciting, but it's definitely a necessary thing, and I don't know.
I will just to kind of close that out, regarding the interviews that we do and all of that, you kind of have to prove yourself. I hate to say this, but it's true. Like, if you were to look at our videos historically, you would see that we've done a lot of interviews, we've done a lot of behind the scenes, and we've always been very respectful.
And so we will send them examples to say, this is what we're hoping to accomplish. This is the light that we want to shed on the park. This is a positive thing. It's an uplifting thing.
Yeah.
So that they can see that we're not trying to do some expose. This isn't National Parks After Dark or anything.
No.
Like, this is a good thing.
Right.
And once they see that and understand that, the parks themselves at the park level have been amazing to work with. Like, I cannot say enough good things about the staff at the national parks.
Definitely.
It's wonderful.
And so that's why we've been able to get these interviews. It really is about, like, the first time that you try and do this might be a little harder, but once you kind of got one under your belt, it's a lot easier to ask somebody and give them that example of the past. As part, because this was a great question, but it was like a little bit of like a compound question. Is that included in the permit? Okay, so some parks actually have language in the application that spells out that if you apply, you get up to 1 hour of time for interviews or for filming with a ranger or a researcher, or a scientist, or something like that. But there are stipulations. One park said it had to be at their normal place of work, where they work on a daily basis. Second was they were not permitted to reenact anything, which I thought was interesting. So it's, I guess, don't act like you're doing some scientific research.
Right, it was like their ranger program needed to be filmed just the way that they would do it, and no redos, nothing like that, which we try to do anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I hate to say it, but it is park by park. And then if you are beyond that, so for example, if you are over that 1 hour or whatever that they have allotted, then you might pay a recoupment fee of however much it costs per hour for that person to basically be working with you as opposed to be doing what their job is.
And then Jen asked a really good question. How long is the average lead time? That is also, again, a park by park basis. Some parks, like the longest lead time we've encountered is 90 days, I believe. Another one had
90 days.
Had 6 weeks. They're all different. And that's the other very tricky thing, is that you have to, nobody's going to go and do the amount of parks in the short amount of time that we're doing. I don't think. So this would probably be easier on you if you're trying to hit a couple of parks within, a couple months. But yeah, I made spreadsheets that had the date that the application was due, what the lead time was, all of that stuff. They're all different. Some are 10 business days, some are 20 days. Some are several weeks. So, and
some parks want to talk to every applicant before they apply, and some of that is almost like a filtering, because it's like, look, they might determine right there and then you don't need a permit. If what you're asking to do does not fall under the criteria that park has, as far as to say, based on the number of people involved and all of that, no permit's necessary. So Jackie had to scoot. Thank you, Jackie. Okay.
So yeah, that's permits in a nutshell. We could talk about permits forever, but that would be very boring. But it is a hot topic issue, and we've had other creators reach out to us, and we are happy to answer their questions. Like, if you guys have questions about it, shoot us a message, whatever. Like, it is a confusing process, and we learned a lot. We are learning a lot as we go through this. Back when we started this project, because also this project was years in the making. And so things had changed even during the course of planning this entire project. So in the beginning of the permit process, it was a learning curve for us too. And we're still learning things. And even the parks themselves are learning things. So it's a good learning process all the way around.
Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
If you guys don't know what super chat is, it's basically just a way to tip your hat, say thanks to us. If you have a question, you can put your question with the super chat.
It'll
and highlights it, put it up at the top. So, Jackie, thank you so much. Jackie. Appreciate it.
Oh, I do want to address this. Let me see if I can grab it. The question about your Hold on.
What?
Talk cameras. What's that lens on Howard's pack? Strap? No cap. People think that we do not have a cap on the back of our lens. Let me see if I can grab it.
No. That's not the case at all.
Yeah. Here it is. I bumped the camera. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we've gotten several concerned comments about this because this hangs on Howard's backpack strap.
Yeah. Thank you, concerned citizens.
This is a cap.
Citizens of the world. That is a cap. Okay. So what this is a double-sided. See that? So you can put a second lens right here. So when we're out, I can strap this on, so and then we can switch lenses and then pull the other one, and now it has a cap on it. And it's all, you're able to carry 2 lenses at a time or change lenses without needing to worry about the caps. And because this handles at least the back cap, then the front cap, you still have to put a front cap on.
So don't worry, our lenses are protected.
Our lenses are protected.
The concern.
People ask us about the. I've often wondered that as well.
I know, because people see it hanging there, and I think they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, you're
hiking. There's dirt. There's dust.
Yeah. I just real quick, do you still have the Winnebago? Yes, we still have the Winnebago. We own a Winnebago. Yeah, so we own our Winnebago Navion, and that is perfectly safe. It is parked nicely. Thank you very much to Winnebago for storing it for us. We will see it, and we will pet the side of it, and we'll say hello to it when we're there at Grand National Rally. If anybody's coming to Grand National Rally, please let us know in the comments or shoot us a message. We will be at Grand National Rally in July. It is a great time. You have to have a Winnebago. That's part of the thing. But it's an amazing event, and we're talking thousands of people attend that every year, and it's super fun. As the kids would say, that's a cap, no cap.
Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Maggie.
Maggie actually Maggie is one of my former employees turned a really good friend from my previous life in media. And she actually came on board with us to help us with this permit process. She was instrumental in getting those first dozen applications done. So hi, Maggie. Shout out to you. Yeah. She really helped us. So we need to give Maggie some love.
Somebody did ask, by the way, so I just wanted to show you. So this is our camera rig. Okay, it's a Sony A7 IV. We actually just switched. We have a new lens. It's a 20-70 f4 lens. So this is great because it's wide enough that you can handhold it to be able to do like a vlog, kind of shot. If you're just trying to not shoot yourself. If you're trying to film yourself. But it has a long enough telephoto that you can actually get close-ups as well. And then we have a fuzzy on the top. But this is a microphone from Sony. The advantage of this one is it doesn't require a cord, less things to fail. So anyway, this is our actual A camera. This is what we film.
Kids and dogs love these.
Kids and dogs love these. Yeah, but this is what we film. 98% of the content that you see on our channel is filmed with this camera. It's a great camera. It can shoot in 4K. And then we also use our phones sometimes. And very rarely now we use our GoPros. We used to use GoPros all the time. Mm-hmm. So that was a question.
I do want to talk about this question because it just made me laugh when somebody posted it on Instagram. Did you make up your surname? Newstate is just too perfect. Howard, is that a real name?
It is
actually
real...
Howard and Katelyn aren't even our real names.
Don't tell me.
I was kidding.
Don't, Katelyn. That's the biggest secret ever that we just revealed.
I know.
Newstate is really my last name. It is a family name. I've seen the
birth certificate.
It is a real.
His extended family.
Yeah,
it is.
It's real. It's real. Now I will tell you that our family, when they immigrated to the United States, they got an Americanized name. It was originally, I think it was Newstate, I believe was the name, and so it became Newstate. But yeah, I'm a melting pot. I'm a melting pot.
But the name is real, and it just happens to be very fitting for what we do.
Can you believe it?
People often don't think it's
Can
real.
You believe that a traveling couple, their last name is Newstate?
And people will separate new and state. Like if we're, I don't know, emailing, or I've seen it happen a lot where people just put new state. I'm like, it's actually her name.
This is one of the most important questions I think we've ever gotten from Steph and Brady. Do you own more than one lobster shirt? Not right now.
Somebody did ask if it was lobsters. Can you just actually stand up for a moment? Because not only are there
are you guys ready?
Lobsters here.
You guys ready for this?
There are lobsters on his shorts. He was so excited. He said, I am wearing my lobster outfit. I didn't know that was a thing
See,
until today.
It coordinates, the color coordinates between
He does have 2 pairs of lobster shorts. But I think only one
I do.
lobster shirt.
I do. Yeah, I actually...
We really like lobster. I don't know.
I can't help it. I've always loved... Okay,
Lobster.
Yeah, well, I love lobster, but I love lamb. I feel
lamb.
like I love lamb. Do you really love lamb? I've always loved printed shirts, like Hawaiian style shirts. And the truth of this is that back in the day, I come from a film background. My entire adulthood has been spent in the film and TV world, working in production. Well, on Fridays, anybody that's worked in production knows that is Hawaiian shirt day. And so I had a nice collection of Hawaiian shirts, and I would wear them every Friday proudly. Well, then that kind of evolved into I would wear printed shirts almost every single day to set. And so I had tons and tons of printed shirts. And much to Katelyn's chagrin as well, I have downsized significantly the number of shirts that I have. So in answer to your question, Stephanie and Brady, the truth is, who are, by the way, they're wonderful navigators of ours. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
They're just great. We love
but I wish that I was allowed to have more than one lobster shirt, because I would wear at least 2 to.
Hear that shade he's throwing?
I'd wear 2 to 5 lobster shirts.
On. We got a super chat here from Virginia.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love that. We're so glad. I think, that is one of the best things about this national park series is just, like reinvigorating people to get out there and explore. And also, as we were doing research for this project, there were national parks we had never heard of. And so many people have said like, oh, this was never on my radar and now it is, or I thought this park wasn't going to be that cool and now I really want to go.
Right.
That is so awesome. So we love hearing that. Thank you so much, Virginia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That does mean a lot.
Yeah. Somebody, I'm sorry. Virginia, I apologize. I got to take this off the screen because somebody was like, where did you get that? I need that outfit. Thank you. Thank you very much. The shirt is know. Old Navy. Mm-hmm. The pants, the shorts.
Oh, were those Costco? No, I don't know. I don't know. I cannot remember where those are from.
Yeah. I think they were Costco.
It might have been Costco. It was just a
Katelyn bought these for me.
I did.
I want you to know. You need more lobster.
So go great with your lobster shirt.
You need more lobster in your life. I wanted to call that out.
Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about dogs. Because we've gotten a lot of questions about the dogs and how Ella's doing. Loopy asked how Ella's doing.
William, thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much,
thank you, William. Appreciate it.
Ella has done, so it's been 6 months since she went blind. Completely blind. Like one day she could see, the next day she couldn't. And she's adapted quite well. There was definitely a period of depression that we noticed with her, which the vet said was going to happen. It would be a normal thing. But within the past, I would say, month to maybe 6 weeks, we have seen her confidence come back so much. She's getting a little bit spunkier. Ella was never a super playful dog to begin with. She's just kind of like a lounger and just wanted to be near us. So that's not out of the ordinary, but we are seeing a lot more of her personality come back. And on walks, like she does great on walks. She's confident, her tail's up. She's like trotting along. She's learned the entire layout of this RV.
She has
steps that she can get up on the bed. She can get down by herself. She still has, she'll get a little confused once in a while or bump into things. We call her like a little Roomba because she's like napping out.
Well, because when she walks into a room, the first thing she does, she goes all the way to the end and stops, like hits the wall, like gently hits the wall. Then like kind of turns around, goes the opposite direction. That's what a Roomba does. Okay. Roombas do that. So it's kind of what Ella does. Yeah. But she has definitely memorized the like she knows that the at least in this kitchen, the galley, that it's kind of on an angle. And so she actually starts to angle herself because she knows that the wall kind of angles as well. So she's definitely figured it out.
Yeah, dogs are resilient, and we're definitely seeing that in her. So she's doing really well. They did have Piper and Ella, so they are going to be 10. They're going to be 10 in August. So they're getting up there in age, and they just had major dental work done, teeth cleanings. Piper had to have 10 teeth removed. So that was a fun process. I was very nervous about that, but they both did great, and their teeth are great. Their breath is much better. So All around a positive, a very good thing. And then Scout is doing awesome.
Scout's great.
You want to come say hi?
Scout, come here.
Come here. Come on, up. Come on. Up. Here's Scout.
Oh, there's Scout.
There's Scout. You want to say hi to everybody?
America's favorite Mexican beach dog.
Oh, thank you. I just stuck her tongue in my mouth. Yeah, Scout's doing really good. They're all doing great together.
Yeah.
So Scout has very much enjoyed the dog-friendly national parks that we've gotten to go to. Becoming a bark ranger was really fun. Petrified forest. I mean, dogs can go anywhere that you can except in buildings in petrified forest. So it's been fun seeing the different parks that do incorporate dogs or have dog-friendly trails, because I know that's definitely tricky.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And actually, I hope it's been helpful for you all, because we are trying to show not just RVing, like, you know, that larger RVs can fit into national parks, but also dog activities where dogs are welcome, activities that are not extreme hikes. Because people a lot of times are like, thank you so much for showing like what you can do if you don't want to do an extreme, 12 plus mile hike. Because look, I mean, let's be honest, we're not professional hikers.
No, somebody asked on our Guadalupe Mountains video, like, why we didn't hike to the top of Guadalupe Mountain.
Which is a justified question, but it's because honestly, we're just, that's hard. That's a really, really hard hike. And we just didn't.
And we only had a day and a half to film there. Yeah. And that would have consumed so much of our time when we like to show a variety of things. I'm getting a bath right now from Scout. We like to show a variety of different things. So if we commit to one really strenuous 8-hour hike, that eats up our whole day.
Yeah.
So that also we take into consideration. We got another super chat from Miss Ricky. Thank you.
First, I know. Another one too. Oh my God.
She says, we have 16 parks left to visit. The series is helping me like crazy. Good. We are so glad. You two also helped so much with our 2021 View D model. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're glad we can help. I mean, that's why we share what we share. Yeah.
And we obviously, awesome. We love so the View and Navion, for those of you who don't know, are essentially the exact same RV. The Navion is more spacious and longer because it has 2 extra letters. So, but anyway, the D floor plan is the exact same floor plan we have. And we love it. We love our Navion, and it has been really fun. I got to say, it's been a lot of fun to try out Class A or RV life for a year. This might not be the end. Maybe we'll try a completely different type of class of RV later.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about RVs, right? Just like with houses or, there's so many different types of RVs that you can try out and different layouts and things like that can fit your family or your style of travel.
Yeah.
So it has been really fun trying out a totally different class of RV.
Yeah.
We got another super chat here from Andrew. You've watched all the videos?
Wait, Andrew, all of them?
How many more videos to fulfill my addiction?
Andrew, that's a lot of videos. We just, because we got like this notification. It was like, congratulations. We've posted 200 videos since we started the channel. And
crossed 5 million views.
We did. In 1 week, this was just a couple weeks ago, we crossed 50,000 subscribers and 5 million views in the same week. So thank you.
Andrew, we'll try to fulfill your addiction. We'll post them.
Definitely. Andrew, we promise there will be more videos to come.
Oh man, you go back and watch them all. It's so funny. We recently started watching like 1 or 2 of our old videos a night last week. And it was just such a fun trip down memory lane and to see how we've evolved. And it is fun.
It's a lot of fun. We love it. And look, because this is also very controversial, like meeting with like other YouTubers, some will take down their older videos because they're like, I'm so embarrassed by it. I can't. I don't care that we have continued to improve our videos.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. Yeah. Right. And it's like, if you don't keep those old videos, how do you possibly compare and contrast between the two? And so we're so glad that we have those videos. And honestly, they're not that bad. They're not. They're like, look,
we're harder on ourselves.
We're harder on ourselves. Yeah.
But I'm so glad we have them to look back on. So
definitely.
Yeah. Going back to just dog questions. Somebody asked, do the dogs bark inside the RV? We're very lucky that most of our dogs are pretty nonverbal. They're not big barkers unless somebody knocks on the RV door or they see somebody approaching the RV.
Right.
They don't really bark. So we're very fortunate in that. And I think part of that is when Piper and Ella were little puppies, there was like this bark box thing that I got. And it emits a noise that they can hear when they bark. Actually, I can kind of hear it too, but most humans
It's
can't.
very high pitched. I can hear it too.
And that,
if you're close to it.
It nipped it in the bud. So that was good.
It's called the no bark.
Yeah.
We still have it. We just don't use it because
they don't bark.
They don't bark. It's a great little training tool. If you've ever, if you've come across it before, the specific brand I think that we use is called No Bark. And it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. And Scout doesn't really bark. It was so funny. The first couple of times, she's a very weird bark. I don't know if she like never fully learned how to bark, or there's so many questions we have about Scout before we met her, but her bark is really weird. It's really weird.
It's not weird.
It is.
It's just for
it doesn't fit what you would expect.
Yeah. First of all, it's not really a bark. It's like a yelp. It's like a hi-you like kind of thing.
It's
when she barks.
It's cute though.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, we don't encourage
thank you,
that.
Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hi.
Are we doing any?
Okay.
We
really want to do some Navigator meetups. I thank you to our navigators. You know,
I feel like this is a constant thing where we're thanking them for being patient with us.
Yeah, we our navigators, and if you're not familiar with Newstate Navigators, it's basically like Patreon. We have our own Patreon on our website, and we did that because I wanted to be able to have a more dynamic and interactive community where there are groups and I on our own website. Like for example, we have a camping map, and it has literally all the campsites that we've ever stayed in on one map. That's not really easy and possible to do on Patreon. So I just made my own basically. So anyway, Jen is one of our navigators, and we have been just not nearly as active as we wanted to be because of this national park tour. And people, I just want to remind you, 51 parks in 52 weeks is a heck of an accomplishment if we even did half of them.
Somebody asked on Instagram, one of our friends, Rachel, Taste for Adventure on Instagram, she was like, yeah, I have a question. Are you tired? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So tired.
Yeah.
But and Howard's really good. Howard is much more of the optimist and like can see the bigger picture. And I'm just like, I'm so tired. This is already so worth it, right? Yeah. Like even if we were to stop today, we just filmed in 20 national parks. Like that is an incredible accomplishment. Scout does do that. She does make these really funny, like dinosaur noises, we call them.
We call them dinosaurs, yeah.
But yeah, that in and of itself is an accomplishment. Also, like you just said, to be able to not only experience it for us, but to help you all plan or help you all, see it virtually, things like that. Right. So while, yes, we are exhausted, I know by the end of the year, we'll look back on this with a very proud sense of accomplishment.
Oh, 100%.
That we did
100%.
it. So.
It's just like, people need to also remember that like, this is not our full-time job. We also have our regular day jobs.
Yeah.
And, and creating videos like this, that, just by itself, not including filming time, is almost 40 hours a week. So we basically have 2 full-time jobs and we're filming. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I put the link up on the navigators because if you're curious about like learning about the benefits and all that kind of stuff, we have tons of different tiers and different benefits. You do get free access, for example, as long as you're a member to all of our guides. We are planning to have more guides coming out very soon. We're working on them now for national parks. We'll have an update for our Alaska guide. Alaska guide's very popular. And so if you're a navigator, you get free access to those as well, as long as you are a member, I should say, of the navigators.
And we might, who knows, maybe we'll have an update to our Mexico guide.
Oh, spoiler, Katelyn.
I don't know. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yeah.
But yes, like Jen, our plan, Howard and I have had a lot of conversations about what 2024 is going to look like for us. And that is certainly part of it. Like we want to engage more with our wonderful members and community. And then we want to see, like when we launched our Patreon that eventually became the Navigators, that was at the height of COVID. So like in-person meetups weren't really a thing. And then, we've obviously gotten to a point where that's okay again and everybody is feeling comfortable doing it. And we want that sense of community with our people. So that is part of the 2024 plan. Yes. We would love that. If you guys have ideas on like places or activities or things that you would want to see or do out of a meetup, and I want to pick a place that isn't just RV specific, because while we travel by RV, we also love international travel. We also love, exploring destinations where you can fly to. So we have a community who also doesn't RV.
That's correct.
So I want it to
even
be a
in the
place that has
Navigators
cabins,
Yeah.
right? Or a place. So don't feel like if you don't have an RV, you don't belong, because that's not true at all.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. And yeah, it's actually a somewhat even split. It's pretty interesting with the Navigators. So just gotta
go back.
Hide that. How do I?
Hold
on.
This is Howard's area.
That's okay. Okay, and then you go back over to the chat. Oh, the chat. There we go.
So yeah, let's talk about Class A versus Class C, because we've gotten a lot of questions.
Wait. This is very important. Floyd Bishop. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
We had no idea.
Our
magnet board was upside down.
We have fixed it. Thank you very much. And it currently has our magnets on it.
Yeah, a lot of magnets.
Yeah, it's about half full already. I'm getting a little bit nervous because of spacing.
I have them spaced out. We can go tighter. But yes, we did flip it around. Thank you very much. Looking over here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But yes, we have resolved that. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Just class. A lot of people have asked, like, what has our experience been like in the Class A? How does this compare to Class C RV life? Just talking about that.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to caveat. So we are coming up to, we've got about 4 minutes left. If you're not aware, starting literally at the top of the hour is the Changing Lanes Live. We would highly suggest checking out our friends at Changing Lanes.
Yeah, we love Chat and Tara. So make sure you jump over to there.
So we're going to wrap this up in about 4 minutes. So that you're not late for that one. So if you do have some questions, now is the time. Please put them in the comments. We'll try and get them as best we can. Okay, so Class A versus Class C life. They're different. Yeah. And honestly, not one is better than the other. And I feel like people are going to be like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's a very political answer, but it's true. Like, Class A, I love the space. Like, when we're all set up, I don't necessarily love the lack of flexibility. I feel like, because the larger that you go, some of the and the amount of ground clearance and everything, there are places that our Navion can go that you really shouldn't take a Class A.
Yeah, and again, it just comes down to, like, what is your style of travel? What are your preferences? What are you hoping to achieve from RV? We love, on a normal year when we're not doing national park stuff, we love camping off grid in really far out remote places, beautiful locations. But you can do that in a Class A. For example, we are boondocking right now in a very beautiful location. We've got mountains and water and everything. It just requires much more planning.
It does.
Yeah. Having a dedicated bedroom is really nice.
We like it.
We like that a lot.
Yeah.
The dogs like the extra space.
That's the thing, is, like I said, it really, and Mark, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
They're just different. And, like, I could certainly see if your style, again, it goes back to style of travel. If your style of travel is going from formal campground to formal campground, I don't think there's any difference between the two, truly. Because the Navion and the Class A would be well suited in those environments. Mm-hmm. I think where it starts to show the differences is when you go off grid, like truly off grid, dispersed camping, boondocking, is where this Class A has a lot more functionality and features than most Class A's do. I mean, from factory. Yeah, obviously, like, you can add
lithium, we have great solar.
Yeah, solar, lithium. We have a great technology package on here. We're able to control the generator, for temperature and all those kinds of things. So it is actually well suited to being off grid or dry camping. But if you are really trying to take it way out there, I think we all know that there are probably better suited RVs for that type of extreme. Now, we have met people who have taken their Class A's to some wild places, and I mean wild. And so it's not to say that you couldn't do it.
No,
I would feel more comfortable probably doing it with our Navigator.
Yeah, just to the places we go. I mean, Phil and Stacy.
Phil and Stacy.
They camp off grid all
Today
the
is
time.
someday.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So,
they go way out there.
Yeah.
They've gone to places we've gone with our Navion. I'm like, how did you do that?
Right, it is doable. Yeah. I think we travel a lot faster than most people. We're moving more, and while like the the Vista is very easy to pack up. I mean, we can be unpacked or packed in a matter of minutes,
That's
which
true.
is amazing because everything has a place. The Navion, we're doing a bit more Tetrising and things like that.
Yes.
But that also comes down to, could we
clutter? Or like,
yeah,
like
we could
reduce.
downsize our stuff more. Downsize, that's the word I was looking for. I think that if you are considering either Class C, Class A Navion, a Vista, make a list of pros and cons, make a list of like your wants, your desires from both a living space and a camping. Are you camping off grid? Do you want to be in campgrounds? All of those things. And then just weigh the options. We can't tell you what is best for you. For us, we have absolutely loved getting to try out the Class A. This has been very awesome.
Yeah.
But we're also really excited to get back into our Navion for more off-grid camping. So
the mix.
Yeah.
If you are heading over to Chantera, please tell them hi for us. And Changing Lanes, obviously great people. I think this one is about their new fifth wheel, so it'll be a juicy one.
Somebody did ask, I think it was the Wandering Miners. Yeah. How much time are you going to take off after the national parks?
This is a great question.
Yeah, if you want to stay and hang out with us for a couple more minutes, we'll be here. But if you want to jump over to them, like we go have fun. Yeah.
Please. Yeah. We will understand. By the way, I just saw the side conversation between Loopy and
Merch.
Brady and Stephen. Yeah,
we did have one conversation with a company. It's on the list.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
It's on
the list for 2 years.
That's a 24 thing. How much time are you going to take off after the national park? We have some rough plans for what we're going to do immediately following, and it's going to be a lot of relaxation.
Yeah.
And
that was like a big it was a necessary, right? Like we knew we were going to push ourselves to the limit this year.
Yeah.
And I just want to be clear too, like Winnebago, they've been amazing partners in this project. They did not push us to do this. They did not dictate our schedule. This was us being like, hey, let's go big or go home, right?
Right.
You know us. We always like to have a goal or, do it in a big way. And they were like, yeah, sounds great. So they've
been very supportive
wonderful.
and they have helped us in countless ways.
Yeah. I mean, we're traveling in this RV from them.
Yeah.
But it was always a conversation between us that we wanted to make sure that when we are done, that we have time off, and that while we're also doing the schedule, we build in time off. It's just necessary. So I would like to take at least a month, maybe 2 off. Because also remember, our videos are about 4 to 6 weeks behind real time. So like we just released parks 14 and 15, but we have filmed in 20. So that is also a factor that once we finish this project in real time, we will still have several weeks of videos to edit. So we will be able to take a couple of weeks off of filming for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think if everything goes to plan, I think we'll be at a place where we can kind of slowly travel, and maybe we do film a little bit, but it won't be so like it's not going to be like this. I mean, I cannot express to you how tight some of the scheduling is for this in order to make this happen. And it has become even tighter because of the fact that we've had to delay several parks because of weather, park closures. There are many parks right now that are still closed right now because of weather. And so it's definitely it's a challenge.
But we do have things coming up that will be relaxing. We're talking about doing a trip with some friends. I just booked a cruise with my mom and sister in January.
Yes.
And I did one cruise when I was like in my early 20s, and it was a very different experience. So if you guys have any advice I would consider myself a first-time cruiser in my like actual adult life. They've never done a cruise either. So I've like watched YouTube videos, read a ton of stuff. Like It's been a whole thing. So if you are a cruiser or know anything about cruises, message me because I would love to pick your brain.
And you know, it's funny because like we follow a couple of YouTube channels that are cruisers, and man, how different their like world is and everything. Like so we're gonna start going down the rabbit hole.
You've never done a cruise?
No.
Yeah.
I've never done a cruise. I would love to do a cruise. I'd love to try it. I struggle because I'm the kind of person that I do get motion sickness depending upon the situation. And so like if I go if I'm on a small boat and I'm above, like if it's a sailboat or whatever, I'm totally fine. But
as long as you're not filming.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. If you're a photographer or you're a filmmaker and you try and look through an eyepiece while the horizon is moving, most people have at least some type of discomfort from it. And so like, but that really does for me, it exasperates my condition. But going into the cabin is the problem. And so I am a little bit concerned, and we've heard from people that maybe it won't be such a big deal on such a large ship, that maybe I won't have that type of an issue. But
I think if you have a balcony and can see out, you should be okay.
Yeah.
But don't overpack on the cruise. Okay, that's one of the things I was seeing.
Also, like we said, Navigator Cruise 2024. Maybe so.
I know Phil and Stacey
just did theirs.
I know, we need to pick their brain.
I know, and I have to say, like, I was like, because we would have absolutely gone on the cruise, but we're obviously doing the national park tour. And it's like, I feel like so many things. It's like, yes, next year, because
2024. Like, we're joking.
Mark, thank you so much for the super chat. And yes, we actually met at the RV Unplugged rally. It was awesome. It was awesome to meet you. Thank you so much. And I hope our paths do cross again in the future.
Yes.
Let's see.
2 cruises. Oh, that's true. My grandma did remind me. I did a cruise when I was 4 months old. So this will technically be my 3rd. Thank you, Nanny. I think we went to the Bahamas, right? I don't remember. I was 4 months old, but I've seen photos. There is photographic proof that I was on this cruise with my mom and my grandma. And I had, I think, a big like life jacket on during the muster, like the drill that you do when you first get on the ship. Thank you for reminding me, Nanny.
Definitely get a balcony room. Any of the
I did do that.
upper decks were my friend. Oh, so Donnie,
Yeah.
you have the same thing as I do. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And you were okay. I just want to follow up. Like, otherwise,
I was like, you were okay.
You were okay. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. From our list, was there any other like?
Oh, let me go back here.
How tired are you?
Why
don't we have a cat?
Yeah.
Listen, you know what?
My
Uncle Bob. You know what?
My uncle asked. So they have 2 Maine Coon cats, which are beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. They are about the size of Piper and Ella. They are big cats. Ella is very intrigued by cats. I did have a cat at one point in my 20s. And Ella and Piper met that cat because my dad had it for a little bit after I had it. And Ella loves cats. Cats do not love Ella. Oh my gosh. Okay, perfect. Good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's why we don't have a cat, Piper, Ella, and Scout. I don't think the cat would like that. I don't think we would like that.
No. And by the way, if I'm trying to just remember who sent that, whoever sent that message about the 42 cruises. You can always email. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can always email us. Just shoot us an email. It's hello at newstatenomads.com. And you can always send us an email that way.
Yeah.
Or shoot us a message on Instagram or Facebook or any of those. So all good.
Yeah.
Because yes, we'd love to pick your brain. Gosh, 42 cruises. 42 cruises.
I know. It's pretty
You've done as
amazing.
many cruises as I am old. That is amazing.
I know.
That's amazing. Any other questions that were on there?
I think we covered most of the ones from Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, I mean, we're excited to keep continuing. We have a little bit of downtime right now, which is nice before our next national park.
Yeah, we've been trying to build in some breaks. As a lot of you saw, we were staying at the amazing RV resort that's in India, the Motor Coach Country Club, which folks, so it's a Class A only, unfortunately. And so this is like the only time we're ever going to be able to go. I don't know. I mean, who knows what the future holds? Maybe we will have another Class A, or maybe we'll buy a Class A. I have no idea what the future holds.
That place was luxury to a T.
Wow. I mean, we had our own spool. We had our own spool.
I know. We learned that term. It's a
spa and a pool.
Because they can heat it when it's cold, or they can keep it cool in the summertime. And
Amazing.
We were looking for something relaxing and cool to do for our anniversary a couple weeks ago. And Howard found that place, and I was like, yes. Our site had its own private pool. We had like an outdoor kitchen, a fire pit. It was right on this little canal. I mean, it was beautiful, but you have to have a Class A to stay there, and you have to be willing to pay the price. We only stayed there for a couple nights because it was
it's quite expensive. It's quite expensive, but
it was a very nice treat.
Yeah, and there are definitely other resorts which are open to everyone. Brady and Stephanie, I like the place where you guys have yours at Hilton Head.
Mm-hmm.
That's open to all types of
And
RVs.
That's a beautiful one too. My family has a spot there too.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, Scooter asked, "What's the next park you're heading to?" What is it?
Glacier.
Glacier, which we have been to before.
Yes.
Your birthday.
Yes, in September.
2020. Yeah.
Yep.
But it was so funny when we were there before. There was really bad. It's not funny. That's not what I meant. There was bad smoke from wildfires that were out west, and it was heading over into Montana. And we did the Going to the Sun Road, and we could not see anything. And we were so bummed, but we're like, oh, well, at least we're here. You know, we're getting to see what we can. And then all of a sudden the winds shifted, and the next day it was crystal clear.
So we did it again.
And we drove through, and we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't realize there was a mountain there. We had no idea that vista existed there.
Yeah.
So I think we only had like one clear day to explore. So
Yep.
I'm really excited to go back. And we had a baby YouTube channel then. I think we did a decent job of covering it, but not to the level that we would want to do, like, you know, somebody to plan a trip there.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun one. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it.
We're camping inside the park this time. Last time we did not have camping inside the park. We stayed outside the park.
We did not. Speaking of which, somebody had a question, if you're still on, about Rocky Mountain National Park and dispersed camping outside of Rocky Mountain National Park. To the west, so I think it's the west or the south entrance, I can't remember which one they call it, the one where it is north of Granby, there is dispersed. There's a ton of dispersed camping just outside of the park. So if you approach from the west side, there is a lot of dispersed camping. It's beautiful, and we have it in one of our videos. It's before we went.
We were with Tiffany and Steve.
Yes, it was the first video, and I don't remember.
It was the video where it says we're back in Colorado.
Yes,
and I'm in a dress and I'm sitting on a rock.
There it is. So just go through that. But Rocky Mountain National Park does have some beautiful dispersed camping just outside of it.
Yeah.
And that's also, by the way, like if you're looking for a tip across the board, outside of most national parks, there's typically national forests that are adjacent to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can typically do dispersed camping, meaning no hookups, wild camping in an RV for up to 2 weeks at a time. And those are all across the country. And we have stayed in some beautiful spots. Grand Canyon, there's some that are right outside the front gate of Grand Canyon.
And then I will say, too, another hot tip, something that we have utilized. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, although we should reach out to them because I sing their praises constantly. CampNab, CampNab.com is a great resource. So what this site does is it will scrape for cancellation. So you can go in and say, I'm looking for camping inside Yosemite National Park. I'm this size RV. I want, up to 3 nights starting on this date. And then you'll get a text message that will be like, hey, this just opened up, and you have to click on it. Yeah. And then you can snag those sites. So it's a little bit of a game. And you have to be willing that if you don't end up getting a site, you have to have a backup plan. So that is actually how I was able to score reservations in Glacier. I think we got 4 or 5 nights in Glacier. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe that. I remember screaming out to Howard. I'm like, oh
I got it. Yeah. And it's because it's always like a big surprise and celebration, because unless you can plan out, most of the parks are releasing, I think it's 6 months out.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's either 4 or 6 months, depending on the parks. Not all of them, but a lot of them are 4 or 6 months. If you don't book, in some cases within minutes, like Yosemite completely fills up within minutes, seconds of when they release the next batch of reservations for camping inside of Yosemite Valley.
Yeah.
So yes, these types of tools. there's that one Ben and Charity, Grateful Glamper, our friends. They also use another service that RV, ARVIE,
which is also the name of Loopy's dog she just got.
Yes, it is.
Cute.
Yes, it is. And that one I have heard, although we haven't had a chance to demo it yet. I've heard that one will even book it for you. That's what I've heard. So if anybody knows for sure and can confirm that. But anyway, there's a bunch of these different tools.
Yeah. And this one, the CampNab one, I think we paid 10. There's different tiers because it will do scrapes either every 15 minutes.
Like the frequency, you're paying for the frequency.
You can have up to 5 scans, and I think it's $10 a month. Yeah. Which right now, because our schedule sometimes shifts and things, we are trying to plan out as far as we can. So that, is worth it for us for sure.
I'm immensely amazed how you coordinated the reservations with your travel schedule. But friends, thank you so much.
We have canceled a lot, rebooked a lot.
Yes.
I mean, it happens, and you can't get frustrated about it. It's just the nature of travel.
When you're trying to do something like this, I mean, I'm not going to say this is unprecedented, but there's very few people that have ever attempted something like this. And, it is getting harder and harder, and we are going to have to make some tough decisions. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds as far as with our, hitting the overall goal, but it is definitely something that if you can't be flexible, this is.
And the permit system makes that harder,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, we have to plan out, like, you have to have flexibility from like a weather standpoint, but then we're trying to apply for the permits and that has no flexibility. And so
yeah,
it's like these two forces working against each other. And so have I had meltdowns and cried? I'll admit, yes. Right. Remember, Howard is the like level-headed, optimistic one where I'm like having the breakdown, but it's, I think anybody who travels full-time too, or even part-time, or anybody who has RV'd or anything, that there's going to be bumps in the road. And it's just, you have to kind of get over that and go, okay, that didn't work. I can cry about it for 5 minutes, but let me pick myself up and like shift and figure out what the solution is. Yeah. And I think it's just about figuring out solutions or rearranging schedules or being flexible. And at the end of the day, we're just going to do the best we can. Right. Yeah. And try to have fun.
And look, we want you to know we are enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
This has been an incredible opportunity and an incredible experience. And so we are so appreciative that we have had this opportunity to dedicate a year to the national parks. I hope that it's been also beneficial to you all. It sounds like it has, and that a lot of people are really enjoying these episodes. And we want you to know that we are also having a really great time making them. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, this is another question we've gotten a lot, and we can wrap it up soon. Diesel or gas pros and cons, and like the power of this versus the power of. I will say I've been very impressed with how this handles going up and over mountain passes while we're towing, because we're still towing our vehicle.
We got so many questions about this because people were like, can a gas RV really like keep up? And the answer is yes. I don't feel like
this thing's got a lot of power.
Yeah, there's fuel economy differences for sure. I mean, our Navion, if we're towing, we're getting between like 16 and 18 miles per gallon. If we're not towing, it can be over 18 miles per gallon. This one, it's about 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And 10 is being very generous. It's like kind of flat or slightly downhill for a long period of time. It's really about 8 miles per gallon.
But this one also has a much larger fuel tank, and so it's less fill-ups.
Yeah, the range, because the range per fill-up is much longer. Yeah. It's over 500 miles on this one, whereas on our Navion, we get about between 350 and 400 miles per gallon. I mean, per fill-up, per tank. So this definitely has the power. This definitely is fine on the hills. You're never going to win a speed race in any RV. I don't care what RV it is. But this one is fine, and it's definitely able to pull our CRV, no problem. And with both of them, I don't feel like there's necessarily like the, I feel it back there. Because a lot of people talk about that. I'm not talking about that with the towable people because it's different. But I'm talking with motorhomes.
Yeah.
I don't really feel too much, or neither does Katelyn when she's driving the CRV. Yeah.
No, not at all. And I will say too, like from a ride standpoint, like how comfortable the Class A is, very comfortable. And that's one thing the other day I was like, man, we've gotten very used to all the space up front in the Class A. It's going to feel so different going back into the Class C. These chairs in the Class A are so comfortable. They're extremely comfortable. The Sumo Springs in the Vista.
This has so many like
beefed up
things. Yeah, like the Sumo Springs, because it has Sumo Springs on all four corners. That really makes a big difference.
That makes a big difference. And then the Safety Plus.
We have a Safety Plus
that we installed. Yeah, which our friends Sabrina and Kenny, who own a Vista, we had asked them prior to moving into this, like, what are some things for Class A life? Because we had no idea. And they were like, definitely get the Safety Plus, which the Winnebago team installed.
Yeah. And I will tell you also, because this is what I've learned, is that there is kind of this point in time where if you have an older chassis from Ford, like if you have the V10, you don't have the thicker sway bars like we have. There were some things like sway bars and some performance with the springs that we benefit from because we have a newer chassis. So older Class A gas might have a little more, swaying and the performance characteristics. Like when you're driving down the highway, we don't really feel like the truck, like coming the opposite direction, that kind of thing.
We have driven, that I can't remember which time it was that we crossed New Mexico, but there was a horrible windstorm. And we actually did have to pull over. It was so bad. But everybody on the road, I mean, even cars were feeling that. Like, that was, so that's the extreme.
Yeah. If you're in a high profile, I just went, Scooter said, Class A gas is fine. We have a 37-foot Vista and get about 7 miles per gallon, uphill, downhill, windy, towing. It doesn't matter. And that's exactly what I would say. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Folks, we need to wrap this up because I feel like we've gone a little bit long.
This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I'm scanning real quick just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
First live of 2023, 6 months in. Maybe we'll do another one before the end of the year. That would be nice. It's so funny because I always forget like how much fun these are, and it is just fun to like chat with you guys, and we just appreciate you all so much. Like we wouldn't be able to do this. Couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you for tuning in every week and letting us into your homes and your TV screens and your computer screens.
I just wanted to just, hello from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. So awesome to meet you guys at the RV Unplugged meetup. Yes, we absolutely believe.
Talked about Cape Breton.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to say real quick, Cape Breton Island, if you have not been, that is a dream bucket list place for RVers to go. It is so breathtaking.
Lots
beautiful.
of lobster.
Oh, man. If you want lobster, the Bedeck Lobster House.
Supper. The Bedeck Lobster Supper.
Yes. Do it.
So good.
And I hope that she'll bob around will confirm that. But incredible. But absolutely check that out if you get a chance.
And the bar clams. Was it bar clams? Yes.
Bar clams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were so good.
we were struggling a little bit. Teresa, thank you so much. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank
you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will see you guys.
So we won't have a video tomorrow.
No.
We wanted to do this in lieu of that since it was Father's Day weekend and everything, kind of give me an extra week too to catch up on editing. So next Sunday will be the first of our Utah Mighty Five. So kicking it off with Zion. This was our very first time going to Zion.
And we scored again through Camp Nab 5 nights. 5 nights inside the park at Watchman, which is again a really hard campground to get. That's why like these kinds of tools, I wish, and let me just say, like if somebody from the recreation.gov team is listening, they need to have this type of a system built in.
Right.
Because like,
and people would pay, I would pay for it.
Because people cancel all the time.
Because the penalties for canceling up until a certain point are like $10. So there's no reason not to book something and then just cancel if your plans change.
Right.
So people do it a lot.
Yeah.
But that's how we're able to get great camping in Zion. Zion, the episode, I've already started editing it. It's going to be very fun. I'm excited for it. We show you some different things to do inside of Zion. We go over the whole, because I feel like there's a lot of questions about the shuttle system. So we're going to go over all that.
Yep.
The campground is great to like walk into town, go to a brewery that's literally right outside the park entrance.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to give too much more away because I feel like I'm talking about it a lot.
And stay tuned about Angel's Landing because we'll talk about Angel's Landing. And we'll also talk about the Narrows because if you didn't know, the Narrows has basically been closed and maybe closed for the whole summer. Yeah, because of high water.
Yeah.
The flow of water. So just so you know.
And then I'm just going to give you one more teaser about one of my favorite things coming up in the Utah series. Bryce Canyon blew us away.
Yeah.
My uncle had told us like that was one of his favorites when he visited. So he was like, I knew that it was going to be something special. And we had such a great time there. Got to do something very cool there. So that video is going to be very beautiful. And I'm just excited for the whole Utah series. These parks are, I think, bucket list items for so many people. And I hope that we can, help inspire or help you plan a road trip to these parks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like that to me is one of the greatest things about making this series is that we're helping you guys and that you all benefit from our research and taking all this time, and that the interviews and the behind the scenes and meeting the people, really helps to enrich and help you appreciate what goes into your experience. There's so many people that work so hard to make the park experience that you see during your visit. We had somebody recently from one of the permit offices thank us for all we were doing, because we were like, no, thank you, because they were super flexible with the permit and helping us, and she was thanking us and it was just like, I don't know, it was a very sweet moment, and we also just are very honored that we are getting to tell these stories from the National Park Service. Oh, thank you. Like you always. Okay. Here's toward Cranberry Denver Climate. Thank you. And by the way, again, this place, if you are on the Harvest Host program, you can stay here. and they have a delicious tasting and all of that like on site. And this
Thanks, Darren.
this, woo, this rhubarb gin is good.
We like, gin is probably our favorite spirit.
Yeah,
I would say we like gin.
I love bourbon. I love
yeah,
bourbon.
okay.
I love tequila. I love mezcal, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mezcal is my absolute
and wine. We love good wine.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
An hour and 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like we could have gone on too. We'll do another live soon. We will.
We will.
Yeah. We'll pick a date and do it.
Yes.
We'll make it a date.
To all of you, to all of our navigators, thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all for
so many
viewing.
bug bites. I keep itching.
And we will see you next week with Zion National Park.
Yes. Have a wonderful Saturday night, everybody.
And happy Father's Day. See ya.